Welcome back. It's time for the interactive segment. That's my favorite part. So get your phones and send that tweet and Facebook comment. What is it? Why are you laughing?
It's your favorite part.
It's my favorite part because I get to tickle you.
You worry me.
I tickle you. What's up? You look good, actually. And why did they place a microphone right in your chest? Jesus.
I thought you were going to say why is the zip right in front of me.
No, the microphone.
See, where do you want the microphone to go?
Yeah, I mean, it could go somewhere else. Maybe somewhere your hair will, it's too. What's up? What are people gossiping about? Oh, stop it.
He's doing this again. When I go home, I get several tweets after the show actually saying, oh, I love you, and Steve, when you come, you give us a little bit of something before.
Yeah, and I like your dress.
You like my dress?
I do. Now that you've mentioned, I've seen where the zipper is. Nice position. Yeah.
Be careful, we're talking about Ebola.
Ebola.
Yes.
I don't have Ebola. Do you have Ebola?
No, I don't have. The last time I checked, I didn't have Ebola.
Who checked?
Me.
Where?
Everywhere.
No Gucci?
Yes.
Kolebu?
No.
Do you think we can detect Ebola in Ghana?
I'm sure we can.
Do you not think that we have it hiding somewhere and we don't know because we cannot detect?
That is also some.
I'll leave it to you.
That's a theory too.
Yeah.
But
Conspiracy.
Conspiracy theories.
Yeah, conspiracy.
Yes. But then there's a civil society group which is actually calling on government to outsource our Ebola screening.
Okay.
They're thinking that government has it's not
too
really
much on government
exactly to go ahead with it. And so we'll be speaking to the executive director here just for them to enlighten us on why they think
outsourcing is money.
It's more money, exactly. But if you don't have the right people, then I believe you should outsource. If it is based on for our safety and security, then of course you would pay a premium price just to get that. Yes.
Sure. All right.
Wherever you are, this is your most interactive half hour on TV. My name is Marian Toure, and this show is proudly sponsored by Selfline. Selfline, it is about time. And like I was telling you before, a volunteer group, which is the medical Doctors Across Borders. Doctors Across Borders. It's not Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders. These are Doctors Across Borders. They're calling for, they're saying that screening at our borders are really, really poor. So when we go and then we come back, I'll give you the details and then we'll get to the phone lines and speak to the executive director. Don't go away. This is your show after all.
Joy News Interactive is brought to you in association with
Surfline. It's about time.
So welcome to your show, but you have to get interactive with us. That is what you do here on this show. After all, I'll announce all the social media tools that you need to get in touch with us. You find us facebook.com/journeysOnTV. Like our page first, comment on all the posts we put there. We'll amplify your voice by sharing what you are sharing with the rest of the world. We tweet at Joy News on TV, at JN Interactive GH, and I tweet at MN Tourist. Send your tweets to all these three handles. I'll retweet your thoughts and share what you're sharing also. You can send us your email, journeysim@mototvworld.com, and our WhatsApp number remains 0540109009. And JN Interactive is where tech meets news to set the agenda. And so, they are calling. And it looks as if we have so many people in this country calling for so many things. But this one, I think that 100% I really, really support them. And they are calling that for governments to actually try and outsource our Ebola screening to a very private organization to ensure that it's very effective at our borders. And we want to find out here on JN Interactive what you think about it. After all, it affects both you and I. Should government do this? Should government go out and resources? This is your interactive show, and I want you to talk to us and tell us everything that you're thinking about this particular topic that we are discussing. It is your show for today, and I am hoping that I would have my resource person on the line right now so that we can actually talk to him. But the meat of it is that they have conducted research at our borders, and they're saying that our borders are not tight, and so when you're coming in through our borders, the screening that they do there is very porous. And so they're saying that fine, government has too much on their hands, like I was discussing with Steve before, and so government should try as much as possible to outsource this and then give it to a private entity to do it for us. At least if we are safe, if a private entity does it, then of course the monitoring of the activities will be very, very great. And I'm hoping that my resource person is on the line right now so that we can actually go and then speak to him right now. And hello, good evening.
Oh, good evening.
How are you doing, Doc?
Very fine, and I hope you are doing well too.
And thank you so much for your time with us here.
Thank you.
I wanted to find out, you are, of course, Dr. Kojo Amponsa, and you are with Doctors Without Borders. And I want you...
Doctors Across Borders.
Doctors Across Borders, I'm sorry. You mentioned that you have identified some gaps in our Ebola screening process. What are they, please?
Well, thank you. Actually, it's more of especially the land borders. Yes, and which I think account for majority of our travelers in and out of the country.
Right.
And what our organization found out was, you see, let me start with the one in the Volta region,
Right.
Yes. Actually, there's a huge difficulty because of the language. Because you see, somebody may be speaking the same language on the Ghana side, as well as then that language is the same being spoken on the Togo side.
Right.
And so at times it's difficult whether the person that you are bringing in was already staying in, or the person that you want to screen was already staying at the Ghana border, hadn't crossed over.
Right.
Or it's somebody who had just crossed over from Togo to Ghana. So, exactly. And it's difficult. The staff strength alone there was quite pathetic. And even the mentality as well. One of my guys who had wanted to cross to Togo to buy a car and come over. And when they actually realized that he was a doctor, I mean, he was in a passenger car, but they didn't do anything in the form of screening. Just because they realized, oh, he's a doctor coming, maybe I don't know that because he's a doctor, there's no way that he could ever get infected or something. Just by that reason alone, I mean, all the people, even in the bus that was traveling, went scot-free without any form of screening.
Right.
Look, taking into consideration the kind of even materials that we are using, these hand sanitizers, most of these things are potent towards bacterial infections and other stuff. We are dealing with a highly virulent viral infection. And in fact, most of these hand sanitizers will do virtually nothing at stopping the spread of it. So, in fact, the notion that, oh, you have cleansed your hands with this hand sanitizer, so you are safe or whatever. Look, we are talking of an organism that can even affect somebody when a patient dies of it, even within 3 days. Within 3 days, when somebody dies within 3 days, it can still infect somebody. None like it before.
Doc, when exactly did you conduct this research?
We did this in October, right? Yes, we did this thing around the months of July, August, and to some part of September.
So it is very recent.
It's recent.
Right. And have you discussed your findings with government?
Not really yet. We haven't yet. We haven't actually had any discussion with government yet on the findings.
Right.
You know. Yeah.
But
I must say that actually the work, the reason why we directed our attention at Ebola. In fact, we have been doing lots of work even on cholera and other stuff, most of these epidemics and stuff. There was this a scary moment at work which exposed a strong deficiency in our preparedness. After seeing an expatriate, I treated an expatriate who had presented with fever, cough, and headaches, all those things that are, sweating, rash, and other stuff. And then after I admitted this month, I was, during lunchtime, I was just trying to go and eat, and then I heard the nurses shouting where I was. And then they came to tell me that the patient, the expatriate that I had just seen, who had flown into the country about 2 days or so ago, had now started vomiting blood.
Right.
And you realize that, and also coughing blood. You realize that if you add these things, then you are probably heading towards a differential diagnosis of Ebola.
But knowing the situation in which we were, where your staff and yourself, were you actually properly clothed to treat this gentleman?
Not at all. That's something that, in fact, it was very scary.
Right.
Because when he walked in, initially, after taking the history and examination and everything, our mind went straight to either malaria or any diarrheal disease or something. And meanwhile, when I went back to re-examine the patient, he had not he vomited blood or coughed blood. It was his intravenous line that we are using to give medication.
The drips,
that was what had been moved.
Ah, okay.
And they didn't hear, and they thought that they didn't see it where they thought it was the blood coming from there. In fact, there was an expert student as well. He ran away, never to go back for any of his medication or stuff and those. And then I realized that if this thing had been true, it meant that in fact we are all
disaster. Yes, but Doc, why do you think outsourcing Ebola screening is the best way to go for us?
Yes, you see, I want us Afghans, in fact, to tackle Ebola as, in fact, to tackle it, with all them and jiggle. In fact, we need to take no stone on 10, make no stone on 10, because see what happened in Czech Republic. Okay, although the student was treated badly, but it tells you that even countries which are thousands of miles away from the epidemic are doing everything possible to prevent it from coming.
Right.
How much more we were just a few miles away.
Right.
You see, and so if private organizations come in, look, these human considerations from politicians and government will not come in. It will be strict and very thorough and efficient. You understand? So
yes.
that, in fact, we will tackle it even at the peril of our lives. That is what, when my team, our last meeting last night, we just made that you tackle Ebola or even die trying.
Okay. Doc, don't go yet. Perhaps I may have something else to talk to you about. But we go on to the other line and then speak to the Public Relations Officer at the Ministry of Health, who is in the person of Tony Goodman. Good evening and welcome to JN Interactive.
Good evening, my sister.
I want to ask you first, how effective is the screening at our borders?
Oh, it is effective, very effective. With the nursery training we've given our staff at various borders and the nursery logistics we've given them now, as we speak, training is very effective, and we continue to monitor what is happening at our various borders.
Right.
And strengthen the logistics and then some resources we have there.
Right. But as Dr. Dakwa was talking to us before you joined us in the conversation, he was saying that it is not effective and want government to actually outsource the screening. Is this something that the ministry would actually consider?
Yeah, thank you. This Ebola issue and whatever we're doing, we are not doing it as a Ministry of Health alone. We're doing this together with other sectors, other private institutions, other private companies. Everybody, the media is also on board helping us to prepare adequately and put in place measures that would make us look good when it comes to dealing with this whole Ebola. So whichever company, whichever group comes up with any idea, we hope it will be subject to some screening, and then a lot of people in the sector will look at it. And if it's okay, we'll go by it. So I would want to request that they write officially to the minister, because with Ebola we have interministerial oversight committee that is dealing with it. If a letter is written to them, they will look at it. If it is visible, they will look at it and then advise accordingly. So it is not about talking in the media, but the best thing is to write to the appropriate authority, and the necessary action will be taken.
But can you assure us then that if Dr. Dakwa and his team actually came to you, you would give his consideration 100% of your resource?
I'm telling you, day in, day out, we meet various groups from the academia to private companies and all that. We will meet people because we don't have it all when it comes to knowledge relating to this Ebola thing. So whoever comes, we listen.
Right.
We make sure we make time and listen and take what advice they will be bringing on board. Scrutinize it. If the need be to use, we quickly use them. So we meet people. Our doors are not closed. It's open for everybody.
Most definitely. So, Dr. Dakwa, I hope you will take this challenge and then speak to the authorities. And Tony Goodman has actually assured that they would give your case 100%.
I think that's good news to hear. Like you said earlier on, it is a call to duty for Mother Ghana. So. In fact, we will be very pleased. We will put down some proposals and submit it, to government, and then we take it from there, because we have, in fact, people. Our organization has people scattered all over the borders of this country, almost every corner, and we believe that, like Tony is saying, one government embraces us and other organizations, definitely we believe that we can fully tackle or attack Ebola before it attacks us.
Most definitely. Thank you very much for your time on Journey Interactive, gentlemen. Yes, and I was joined on the line by the Executive Director of Doctors Across Borders, and in the person of Dr. Kwejo Amponsa Dakwa, and also Tony Goodman, who is actually with the Ministry of Health. Moving away from there, a British journalist who is actually in the person of Tony Patterson is alleging that he had to bribe workers at our airport to check his luggage in, and he said because of the bribery, many people can escape Ebola screening. Based on this, we have been around to ask you, have you ever bribed anybody at the airport, or have you actually encountered this at any of our airports? Let's take our video blog.
When I was coming from my country recently, 1 month ago, I can't say they check us properly, so I just enter. They don't know if I have it or if I don't have it. So I think you have to focus about it, because a lot of people are dying about it.
What the man is saying is actually true, because sometimes when you get to the borders, things done there are not usually under normal procedures to go about it. So what I would think is the government should rather create more, let's say, efficient people at the borders, so that they can be able to check all those things, because it's very serious. The country is really in danger.
What the white man is saying might be true, but when you pay and enter the country and you are having the Ebola virus like this, and you just pay and enter the country, no one is going to screen you, understand? So when you enter, you can just infect other people in the country, and then the other people infected too can also infect others, because this virus in now, more people, like most people are ignorant about the virus, you see, and then there are some illiterates who don't know the symptoms, so they can even have the virus but they won't know.
Actually, I think they should actually check on the borders one, because just paying mere money to enter the country is not the best at all, because when you pay money to enter and maybe the person is not screened properly and he enters with a virus or something, it's going to affect most Ghanaians. That's not the best, I think.
If it were to be me, I'll just tell the government that the security men over there, or whoever is watching the border, should make sure that at least collecting of bribe will not only help them, but it can also help the people in the country. So if they are doing something like that, they should stop. And then the government should see to it that you should at least send some people to know if what the white man is saying is true. I think that one will help.
Well, to me, I think that, well, he has his own opinion. But the fact of the matter is that our authorities need to sit up. In as much as he comes from the UK and he has a right to express whatever thing he wants to say, I think it's a wake-up call.
Welcome back. This is your most interactive half hour on TV. It is JN Interactive, and my name, as always, is Marian Ture. And on the issue of outsourcing, our Ebola screening at the airports, we've been around and we're asking you what you think about it. Let's take our next video blog.
They just take my vaccination paper, they just look at it, through it, and that's all. You see, there is nothing about, I can say, security concerning Ebola at the border.
The government should actually check on the borders, and they should make sure that the security systems there are really tight so that no one with the virus is able to enter the country.
If they've screened some people who are positive of the virus, and people will be serious about it. So it's because the virus is not in the country yet. Maybe it's not in the country yet. That's why people are not serious about it.
And then the procedures for the check-in should be very, very effective. They shouldn't be careless over there. Yeah, they should be very, very, very effective so that those things will not enter into the country.
Need to be vigilant and be extremely focused. This is the only Ghana we have, and this is where God has placed us. So let's defend our homeland, Ghana.
Welcome back, and so that's what you have been sharing with us on that. Let's go to Facebook and take some of your comments that are coming in. And Zachary, we just asked you, we told you what the precursor here is, that the medical volunteer group, Doctors Across Borders, says that they want Ebola screening at our borders actually tightened up, and we're asking your view on that. It is all about you and I. So what do you think? Should government do that or shouldn't they? You've been sending your comments. We begin with Zachariah Mumuni for today, and it says it's good, but government should force those doing it to do it well. Okay. Jeremy says it's a good call because the disease is a very deadly one. I couldn't agree with you more. Dominic Mensah Oklu says, hey Ghana, why are we paying with them? Why are we playing with, but we are not playing with Ebola. They are calling for it. So yes, I think it's in the right direction. Samuel Musa says, now that every sector of government is deteriorating, I think it will be wise for private organizations to do it very well, because if this fails and Ebola enters Ghana, then we will die one by one. Episode, I love your name, by the way. Episode says, maybe if they see that that is a good idea, okay, you don't care about the money. I haven't heard anyone mentioning the money so far, because outsourcing involves a lot of money. Newton Jeffer says, yes, he should, and that will be a wise thing to do. Nyamiche says, that's their work, and they know the work government should provide them their needs. And Belinda says, I think they should outsource the screening to a private entity, hence make it more effective, since those doing it are not taking it serious because it's government's work. And I appreciate all your comments, but I will still appeal to you to write in longhand, because the comments are going live. Some of the shorthand really don't gel together, and so having to take them is not working. Steve is back, so we can wrap up together. I
have never bribed anybody at the airports before.
I have had to do it once or twice.
I've never had to do that ever before.
I've had to do it once or twice. It was under duress. I had so many things.
Under duress?
Yes, it was like, madam, you have to give me something or I'll search all your bags. And I was so tired. I'd been traveling for hours.
I have that face.
Yeah.
I'll look at you. Excuse me.
Well, look at this face. Irrespective, I was so tired that I just couldn't be asked. I mean,
what did you say?
14 hours across. I was like, it was a no-no. So I said, Master, just receive and let's go.
You just couldn't be what?
Be asked.
Okay. Right. My name is Stephen Enti, and that's how Marian Turi concludes the interactive segment.
Yes, it was a pleasure having you. Thank you so much. We'll see you again soon.
Yes,
good evening.
Joy News Interactive was brought to you in association with
Surfline, it's about time.